Hey guys, today we're doing a very special video because it's kind of a behind the scenes video combined with a review, and I've got a very special car that Tommy and I are going to be reviewing. It is the Mercedes-Benz,
I got it, AMG GLE 53 Coupe.
Yep, that's right, 2022. And we're taking this for a 2-hour road trip review because we're doing a new series on TFL. What are we calling that series, Tommy?
I don't remember.
It's Stud to Dud, where we're buying three 90s convertibles to find out who built the better convertible. Was it the Germans, was it the Japanese, or was it the Americans? So today we're gonna go look at an German convertible.
Yeah, well, my dad has found this clapped out SL, which he's convinced is the car for us. Only problem, it's like 2.5 hours away. And we don't know if it has a convertible top because the guy doesn't know. So we're gonna go take a look at it, see if it's in decent shape, maybe buy it. But regardless, have a fun trip in the GLE.
Wait, you kind of just skipped over the most interesting part, which is the reason we're going 2.5 hours is not to look at a car, because there's a lot of SLs out there, right? Especially that generation. They've really bottomed out right now. This guy's asking $10,000, but when we were talking to him on the phone, he said something very interesting. He said that his mechanic said that it doesn't have a convertible top, which left me completely speechless because they all came with a hardtop and a convertible top. So now I have to know, does this $10,000 Mercedes SL, what year is it? I think it's a 94, have a convertible top?
Why do we have to know that?
Because it's interesting.
Some Mercedes that there's 1 in a billion of in Springs, 130 miles away. I'm not that interested. We can get one closer. They're all over the place.
No, I need to know if this thing actually rotted away, or if they actually took the convertible top. But we do know one thing: if the convertible top on it is broken, how much to fix? If all of the actuators and...
Well, yes, it's got 11 hydraulic actuators, and at the Mercedes dealer, it's like 8 to 9 grand to fix.
So basically, if there's no convertible top, just a hard top, you don't have a convertible.
Well, you've got a SL Coupe.
Who's gonna buy a car without a convertible top? You could be driving along, and it's gonna start snowing or raining.
Leave the hard top on it. You just bought a coupe.
Then you just bought a coupe. You're right. Yeah.
Well, we're going to hit the road and we'll go check it out.
And let's talk about this car because I'm curious to see what this bad boy's like. It's not the 63, right? Mercedes has made this so utterly unintelligible that most people really are confused, right? So there are now 2 AMGs. There's the 53 and a 63.
Yep.
So how much horsepower does this 53 have?
So this is the inline 6-cylinder version with the turbocharger and the mild hybrid.
Which is how much horsepower?
I don't know. I have to look it up. I
Pop the hood.
I forgot. I had it in my head and then I just immediately forgot the number.
429 horsepower, 384 pound-foot of torque. Base price $78,450, but as tested, $94,000, which is how much money you could put into that SL.
So this is a lovely, lovely engine. This is the, I know that some people are befuddled by the whole straight 6 versus V8 turbocharged thing in these AMGs, but the straight 6 is fantastic, really smooth. It sounds pretty decent as well. And I do think it is a true AMG car. You got a lot of the handling components that you need in an AMG. This one's rolling on these beautiful set of 22-inch wheels, which I think look fantastic. You've got AMG badging here along the front with these vertical slits in the grille, the multi-beam LED headlights on this model, the ginormous slotted brake calipers behind those huge wheels.
Hey, what makes it a coupe?
Well, what makes it a coupe is the sloping roofline. So the GLE is of course available in the squared off version or this model. So this competes with like the BMW X6. And I think it looks okay. It's a little turtle-like from the back. I do like the little lip spoiler back here. AMG badging along the rear, and then quad exhausts with the AMG tips. And the trunk space is pretty decent. The rear headroom is a little compromised on the coupe model, but it is pretty usable, I'd say.
19 mpg combined for a car with that much power. That's pretty crazy. 19 mpg. It's 17 city, 21 highway, and of course the cool thing about this is the I think it's a very bad Monroney, but it looks like lunar blue metallic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color. I have driven the 63 version of the GLE, which is just balls to the wall, but it's a little bit too much, I think, for what most people want. The 53 gives you a lot of power and torque with some fuel economy savings. It still sounds pretty good. You still have the different sport modes and the adaptive suspension, and it saves you a little bit of money as well.
So let's get to Divide, Colorado, which is literally in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, to go look at this Mercedes. Let's hit the road. All right, Tommy, before we talk about the interior of this Mercedes, let's talk about the R129, which is the model designation of, and it's a 92 SL, by the way, not 94, I was wrong.
Yeah, so it was a big leap forward for Mercedes-Benz. It was immensely advanced for its era. It had tons of power accessories. It brought standard airbags, ABS, later went to traction controls. The most powerful, I think, road-going car Mercedes built at the time, with over 320 horsepower. Immensely expensive to fix nowadays, generally robust, and parts are pretty pricey.
Yeah, it's kind of depreciated to its lowest point. It's one of those cars that you can get so upside down in that it can quickly cost more to repair it than it does actually cost to buy it. And that's why we're doing this series, right? Because we're picking the kind of the stud cars from the 90s that have now turned into the dud cars of the current era. And at some point, you know, those cars are going to come up in price, right? The previous generation, which were $5,000 to $10,000 cars all day, now are like $15,000 to $35,000 cars.
Right. I still think we're a little ways out from that, especially on this one if it doesn't have a convertible top that works. But let's talk about the inside of this GLE 53 really quick, because this is one heck of an interior, by far the highlight. So we've got the dual screens in this GLE 53. They look fantastic. This latest generation of MBUX, I actually think is very easy to use, super intuitive. It's got stuff like massaging seats with different settings in it, which is really nice. The center screen, completely configurable depending on how you want it. We also have these shortcuts on the steering wheel to go into different sport modes. We can lower and raise the suspension. All of this is beautifully configurable. It's just a really nice interior.
Yeah, and then of course you've got not just one way to control all of this infotainment. You can do it also with the screen,
yep,
or here with a little touchpad.
Little touchpad, yeah, I really like the wood in this model. It feels very good, looks very premium. We got the 4 central vents across the dash. Got these little up and down toggles for the climate control. This is the peak of Mercedes interiors, I think.
But wait, Tommy, there's more. There's 2 other touchpads on the steering wheel that you can also use to control the screen.
Are you a little intimidated by the amount of technology here?
I know.
Look, it's usable though. It's really easy to figure out.
Yeah, I've used enough Mercedes now over the years that I've actually gotten to be familiar with it. So I suspect if you owned it, after a while it would get very intuitive. But if it were like my mom, your grandma, she'd be completely flummoxed by all this.
Yeah, well, it's pretty cool though. I mean, all the configurability.
Yeah, you can change the display to more of a classic Mercedes-Benz dashboard, or you can go to a sporty one, or
yeah, different themes.
Yeah, you could put like 3D up there. It's kind of crazy.
Now this car also has the EQ boost system, which is their mild hybrid system. And here in the screen, you can actually see when you're charging and adding power to the system, which I think is very nice. That's a cool car, by the way, GLS 63.
Yeah, this is an all Mercedes all the time review, isn't it?
Pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, overall, the only thing I don't like is in comfort mode, I would like the ride to be a little bit more compliant. But part of the issue, I think, is those 22-inch wheels are pretty hard to kind of get a soft ride with. And then in sport mode, it does really firm up, which is good when you're trying to do canyon carving. And then rear seat headroom's a little compromised. But apart from that, good road tripper.
All right, I'll give you my like 5 favorite features really quickly in a kind of a TikTok way, and the ones I don't like. Number 5, I love the steering wheel, Tommy.
Yep, flat bottom. It's got these beautiful metal paddles. It looks really good.
Number 4, I love these vents. They're almost jewel-like in the way that they function, and I love the 4 across. Mercedes in some applications has gone with the round ones, but I do like these.
Okay.
Number 3, this little Baumeister grid for the speaker. That's a work of art, dude. Burmeister. That's a work of art, right?
Yep.
Number 2, it still has the old school not touch capacity, but actually physical buttons for the seat.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's a good point.
Right, the new ones have gone to, you gotta almost like feel your way through them.
Yep. And
number 1, and maybe you could show this when you accelerate, I love the power.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. It doesn't really throw you back in your seat like you might expect a AMG 2. It's kind of like a wave of torque, which is good. But here, let me go into sport mode. And we'll let this take 1, kind of accelerate a little bit out of the way.
And you can kind of give it a little bit of
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you gotta love the sound of that engine, Tommy.
Yeah, it does sound good. It's got an active exhaust system, I believe. So, what are your dislikes?
All right, number 5. You know these headrests?
Yep.
Once you've been in an S-Class where they've got these little pillows, it's hard to go back to these firm ones.
Okay.
All right, those little pillows are so incredibly soft. Number 4, too much going on in the steering wheel. Too many controls.
You just said you love the steering wheel.
I said I love the steering wheel. I didn't say I love the steering wheel controls.
Okay.
There's too many functions for my liking.
Okay.
Number 3, if I were to get this car, I wouldn't get the coupe. I don't get the coupe. I don't get the X6M. I don't get this one. Why do you want to do less utility and less room, right? It's sport utility vehicle, right?
Yep.
Not, I mean, ever since like Acura to the ZDX and really cut the back off, I just don't get that whole thing.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, right there, little plastic key for a $90,000 vehicle. And number 1, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little light that runs throughout here.
Yep.
And throughout there, and you can configure this so that, according to Mercedes, it calms you, right? So you can change the interior lighting signature.
Sure, yeah.
I kind of find it feels like a little bit of a Berlin disco, right?
Well,
it's a little too much.
Let's change the colors, huh?
That's the Berlin disco part.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, look, you're in this fuchsia color right now.
Bright pink, but let's go to like ocean blue. There you go. Now it's a Norwegian sauna. It's very, very nice.
I don't know. I think it's just like, it's inexpensive to do, and it's just kind of a cliche and a gimmick, as opposed to actually, like, I don't think making this from fuchsia to green to blue is going to make me any more relaxed.
That's a you thing. I'm super chill. All right, guys. Well, we're going to keep driving along, and we'll let you know when we get to this ARC 129.
So Tommy, this is as far as I ever want to go to look at a car. I've been a 2.5 hour jaunt to the Springs, then you have to take a right, go to Woodland Park, and then keep going to Divide. I mean, it's pretty far, and I usually have a rule that if it's more than a half hour, I don't want to go see it. But this car was so interesting because I want to really know whether it has a soft top. So what happens if he doesn't let us take the hard top off?
I mean, first of all, I do not understand your obsession with this one particular car and this one particular piece of equipment on this one particular car. Because every other SL we know has a hard top.
And a soft top.
And it's probably going to be closer. And second of all, even if it does have a soft top, which it probably does, the fact that this guy doesn't know it has a soft top means it's been under there for probably 20 years, which means it's going to be made out of little bits of moth-eaten string. So I think it was a fun day with you and Case. I convinced you that we need to buy a British sports car, but at this point, I do not see the appeal of this particular SL.
Well, the appeal to me is, first of all, it's only got 50,000 miles, so
allegedly
that's low, right? Which is always good. It's also in resale red, so that pops on video, so it would be good for the video series, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated by this generation of SLs because they were so highly over-engineered, and yet they were kind of boring. Does that make sense? They were like, I remember when they first came out, Mercedes was so proud that they incorporated the seatbelt into the seat, right? Which made it much more modern and safe, but it never caught on.
Yeah, I don't fully see the appeal of the R129 SL. But I do see the appeal of taking a road trip in the GLE 53. This has been a really good road trip car. So at least we got 2.5 hours behind the wheel of this. That was been a lot of fun. Dad, where the heck are you taking us here?
Well, Tommy, in Colorado, every road turns to a dirt road. And a good thing we've got all-wheel drive and air suspension.
Yeah, but we're also on 22-inch wheels and Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's high-performance summer tires. So, but we do actually have, check this out, we actually have a trail mode. So
yeah, probably softened up the suspension.
Yeah, raised it up a little bit.
Raised it up a little bit, yeah. See?
This does not feel like premium Mercedes SL country. The way I'm thinking about this is, if this guy lives up here and has an SL, that's not exactly
yeah, but he was his brother's. It came out of Breckenridge.
Well, somehow it must have gotten here, though.
It came from Hollywood, apparently.
Yeah, but he had to go down this road, is what I'm saying. It didn't just emerge from Hollywood, like someone had to drive it here. So hopefully that means we're not going to hit any.
Well, for Colorado terms, this is just a regular dirt road.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll be fine.
This is not so far.
No,
so far, a trail. It's just a dirt road, and a beautiful one at that. All right, Tommy, we're almost here, but it's a really beautiful part of Colorado.
Yeah, it's just stunning.
Right.
And it's a gorgeous location. Oh, Jeep Cherokee. So I think we're at his place. He said he had a white Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah. You know, I was expecting just a boring old trip, but this has really made it worthwhile.
Yeah. All right. Let's go talk to him.
Let's go talk to him. Yeah. Yeah, so we run a pretty popular YouTube channel, and we're trying to do this video series that we're calling Stud to Dud. So we're buying like some of the coolest 90s convertibles, and we want to buy a Japanese one, a German one, and an American one. And of course, you've hopefully got the German one.
I think I've got the car for you today.
Hi, cutie.
Hey, Terry, call Bella. Well, here it is.
Wow, so this car was your...
My brother's.
This was your brother's, okay.
A year ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. We were close.
I'm very sorry. And you said he was in Breckenridge.
Yeah. This car started out in Hollywood, ended up living most of its life in a garage in Palm Springs. As you can see, 30-year-old paint, you could see yourself in it. It is a beautiful car. I think he bought it to get away from his wife. This is his phone booth. He'd lock the doors and call people. Not quite honestly.
Do you want to pull it out for us? That'd be great.
I'll pull it out. And,
You pull it up.
with these, the mechanic says you do have an accelerator pump, so it takes a couple tries to start it.
When he was the original owner, you said?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fast too.
So tell me what works and what doesn't work on it.
I don't know how to turn the radio on. I really have no idea. I've tried everything.
All right, fair enough.
The seats, the electric seats need some work. Like this won't go down.
Okay.
That one's inoperable.
Yep.
The switch is bad.
Yep. How about like turn signals, lights?
All that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
And air conditioning? Is it blow
yeah,
cold?
air conditioning blows cold.
The biggest reason I came here was because you said it had no soft top, which I can't. You know, they all came with a soft top.
The mechanic said this one didn't have one, so I have no idea what
It's gotta
that's
have
about.
one.
I'm sure it has one.
Can we look for it? Are you okay if we find it?
I don't know about taking this hard top off. I've never done it.
We can help you with it. We've done it before.
You've done it before?
Yeah. So we gotta see it. I can't buy a car without a soft top because then it's not a convertible.
How do you take it off? There it is.
There it is.
All right, we just lift it up.
That
Wow,
works.
look at that.
That works well. Yeah. Let's help them. Let's get three of us on this.
You want to set this back?
Great idea.
So you got a pissed off squirrel?
Yeah.
Hey, you got him?
That's Sam. This is squirrel number 11.
What do you do with them?
I release them far away. It's somebody's house I don't like.
Oh yeah.
What a beauty. Never seen it with the top off.
Slide over just a little bit so it doesn't cantilever over. Is that cool? That's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Yep. All right, now we got to figure out the most important thing.
Yeah,
Why we
I'd
came?
like to see if it works.
Yeah, why we came 2 hours.
Look, it's got to have a top. Look.
It's got.
There's
I know it's got to
hinges.
have a top.
The parking brake has to be on.
The windows need to be down for this operation?
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. All right.
And there's the soft
And there's the top. Look at that.
Winner!
And it's in good shape.
Winner! Chicken dinner! Look at that!
Look
and
at
it
that.
works.
And it's black. I like that.
Hold on.
Got it. I see now. Well, that's pretty slick. German engineering. That's actually not in bad shape, is it?
No, it's not in bad shape.
Not a tear on it. It's a little yellowed, but 30 years old. It works fantastic. That was a pretty big gamble.
So there are 11 hydraulic cylinders in this top. And if
glad-
you go wrong, it's 8,000 to 9,000.
Up on. And then I will follow you in my
Your
big
antenna
oven.
works.
Sweet!
Oh, there it goes. Hey, it squirts! It squirts! It wipes and squirts. All right, so $9,000. I think that's a fair price to give us
price.
$1,000 to
Yeah.
fix the stuff that needs to get fixed.
Yeah, that should do the trick.
Yeah, that should do the trick. You happy?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
All right,
That's
all right.
really cool.
All right.
It's a sweet car. My brother would be happy that you're celebrating the car.
What was your brother's name?
Jim Lamb. He's
Jim
from
Lamb.
Breckenridge.
Okay,
And you
yeah.
can mention him to your heart's delight
All
on
right.
YouTube. He would be delighted.
Jim, this one's for you. We're going to make this into a YouTube star. We already started that process. And You're funny. You should do some stand-up.
I'll give you my card.
So I found some other things that are wrong with it. Why don't you focus on that outside mirror case? It's kind of dead. Who needs the passenger side mirror? As long as you got the driver's side mirror, you can see out the back. So that's broken. One of the fog lights has a hole in it, which is bad because it'll fill up with water. It definitely, has seen better days. But in general, these Mercedes were from an era where Mercedes built cars like they were built out of one piece of metal. And the quality shows. Even driving down this dirt road, there are no squeaks, there are no rattles. It just feels rock solid. Here's the other cool thing about this generation of SL. These are highly sought after in Europe. I'm not joking, this could be easily a 30 to 50,000 euro car in Europe, whereas here, it's a $9,000 car. Go figure. Maybe the Europeans have it right. Now the other cool thing about this car, and it's always been the case with the SL and the S-Class, that this was Mercedes kind of technologically most advanced. It was their tour de force, so it had all of the latest and greatest technology for its day that they could throw at it. So we're going to explore what that was in this video series because I think that's pretty cool. Look at that! It's got a phone! Because that is definitely a phone. When we stop, we're going to have to figure out if that actually pops out and you can do that with it. Because I think that maybe it doesn't do that. It maybe just has, I don't know. Or maybe it pops out and maybe it's like an old school. We'll figure that out once we sign the paperwork and hand over the money, but we got to figure that out. How cool is that? It's got a phone. So a couple things. Odometer doesn't work, so, does it have 50,000 miles? Who knows? But the interior feels like it's a 50,000 mile car, so does the paint job, so I think it's close to it. It might have a few more, but it's not 150,000. All right, so we figured out that weight means that somebody had put in the wrong code. It's an anti-theft deterrent, so that if you try to steal the radio, it no longer works, because obviously back in the day people stole a lot of radios. And then luckily, since we have the owner's manual, with the help of Case, my videographer, we found the anti-theft code. And so the way that this works is if you punch in the number too many times, it tells you to wait, and the more that you try with the wrong number, the longer you have to wait. So we just have to wait for it to cycle through its wait period, and then we can punch in the code and we should have a working radio. Well, we just exchanged money. Glad that you've got the money and not me, because I wouldn't want to have that much cash in my hand, but by the time this airs, you'll be long home.
Yeah, all I need is a bag of white powder and all that cash, and I'll get busted.
Oh, more comments, please. Oh, God. Well, thank you very much.
All right, my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Really
You guys,
happy.
great to meet you.
Thanks for meeting you.
Thank
Take
you,
it
Brett. Yeah, I
easy.
really
Be
appreciate
safe.
it.
Bye.
Sweet.
Sweet. All right.
Off we go.
You want to go with Case in the Merc?
Sure.
Tommy, very exciting things happening in the office right now.
Yeah, very exciting. This is riveting TV. So when we bought this SL, we turned the radio on and it said wait. And Case did a lot of investigation, and basically what happens is these old school radios have a code, like an anti-theft code, and you have to plug the code in. But someone had plugged it in so many times that it had locked the user out of the radio. This is kind of like an iPhone. Like if you plug in your, well, I don't want to show it because I don't want to lock myself out of my phone, but if you plug in your code wrong 20 times on your Apple iPhone, it'll lock you out, and then it'll be like, lock you out for 10 minutes, and then 20 minutes, and then an hour, and then, whatever. Well, apparently, early 90s Mercedes do the same thing. This code had been plugged in so many times wrong that it made us wait 2 days. If I plug this in wrong now, what is it gonna be, like a year?
Oh, man.
So the code is 2946. So all you criminals out there, if you want a worthless radio from the 90s. So 2946. Did it work? Oh, baby! That's the worst.
Doesn't sound very
Worst
good.
sounding radio I've ever heard right there.
We should see. Does the cassette
does the
work now?
cassette player work? All right, what do we have here?
What was it? It was all
This is Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. No way! It works.
We got Bob Dylan on the cassette player.
Man, that Bob Dylan sounds better than the FM.
Way better. Now we're gonna get the copyright claim. Frickin' A! That's awesome. All right, we got a radio back. Well, we got a little cocky. This headlight wiper has gone a little kaput on us, but the radio does work. So we waited like 48 hours with the radio on till this little wait functionality basically unlocked itself, and then we put in the code. Now we got a radio, so this car is slowly fixing itself. Now this is coming up very shortly on a new series which we're calling From Stud to Dud, our 3 cheap 90s convertible sports car series. So we'll see how this guy does. This is probably Andre's ride. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, it's been Tommy and Case behind the camera, killing it as usual. We'll see you in the next video.